Greetings ladies and gentlemen, what you see in front of you is a very exciting mod for Europa Universalis 4 called Imperium Universalis that chronicles the ancient world, and not only in Europe but also in India and even China, stretching all the way from Great Britain and Iberia in the west, all the way to Korea in the east, and really everything in between except for the Himalayas and those things, but there's nothing really there anyway, it's just mountains and everything. And it starts from Cyrus the Great. Who is Cyrus the Great? I have heard of his name before. Oh, he's from Persia. So he's over here, I believe. Let's click on Persia. See, where are you, Cyrus? Are you here? Come on, it chugs a bit when loading. Yeah, Cyrus the Great. And he has quite a task in front of him if he wants to create a great Persia, with Media and Babylon being fairly strong. And then it stretches all the way to the Second Punic War, and really everything in between. But what we will be doing here is to play a bit as Rome in the First Punic War. And I would almost say this is a sort of against all odds situation. Not as against all odds as perhaps the Greek or Persian War, which just makes it seem terrifying to be playing as any kind of Greek state, considering how vast Persia is. Just look at this monstrous beast. How could anyone stand against them? And apparently the Greeks did, so kudos on you, ancient Greeks, you did well. But here, even, I tried to play a bit as Rome in the Second Punic War, or First Punic War, just to get a bit of a taste of what the mod has to offer. And it has to offer a great deal. I really like this mod from the looks of it, and it's done a number of great changes, and it's just so much work that they have put into it. Just look at all these small nations and everything like that. But Rome starts off with, maybe I should click on Rome so I can update, and once again have to wait a bit. It is, as I mentioned, it's a big mod, and a lot has been put into it. We start with 767 development as Rome, which is a great deal. Rome is a great power. There's no question about it really. And the First Punic War, which everyone should know what it's all about, unless you had a terrible history teacher or just, you know, a terrible person who didn't care about history. Anyway, I won't judge. It's a war, the first great war between Rome and Carthage, the two great powers of the Western Mediterranean. And Carthage over here has 907 development. It has a bunch more provinces, more than double the amount of provinces that Rome has, although a bit spread out all over the place, all over the Western Mediterranean. And it has, I think, a much greater navy than Rome does at the start at least, and a fairly strong army as well. So maybe this will be, you know, against all odds kind of situation. I think we should just head into Rome and start playing it. I mentioned that this mod has done a lot of changes. As all of these mods that focus on a different time era or a different situation does, like the Mesoamerica Universalis one that added in centralization and stuff like that to simulate kind of how connection issues were a big deal back then. This one does a bunch of things too. We can start by taking a look here. It has a food system that every summer provinces with special trade goods produce food supplies. These trade goods are everything that is really regarding some sort of food will produce food. And then the units will use food. Every land army, every army that you have, every regiment, every province that you have will use up food. So you have a food situation that you need to handle, and can also import food or export food if you have too much. Usually I just leave all of these off because, well, I haven't really played around with it too much. And here is Rome. Here is Rome at the start of the game. Another thing I should mention though, before we start, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, is that I do like one thing that they've done with the units. So usually they have the infantry, cavalry, and then artillery. But they switched out artillery into basically skirmishers, and to simulate archers. There weren't really many catapults or anything rolling around back in this era, and it makes more sense to have archers. And it's one of those things that I really like that they added in. It's one thing that I've thought about in the past, thinking, why haven't they done that? Why haven't they switched that out for archers or any kind of missile troops? It just makes a great deal more sense. So that is probably my favorite thing to be having been done. It still costs like the same amount as infantry. Starts costs almost the same amount, a bit more, and having a slight higher maintenance, but nothing like how cavalry cost. Cavalry costs so much to have. And the armies unfortunately don't reflect that most of the time. This Legion 1, for example, has 22,000 infantry, 1,000 cavalry and 11,000 skirmishers, which is not that great. We want to have more skirmishers, I believe. And this one has so much cavalry that I think we will move all the cavalry over here and then disband this army, because it will cost too much money. If there's one thing we don't have, it's a lot of money. Unfortunately, we are quite screwed when it comes to economic situation. So we will downsize that army quite a bit, and I think we will downsize this as well. And we will probably switch around a little bit, sending some... I think we will send 2,000 men over here and send them in turn some Latin cavalry. Here we go. So the situation is fairly dire in the beginning. We start with a looming disaster, which is, to be fair, easily solved. It's Secessio plebis. My Latin is non-existent, so bear that in mind. We can solve this quite simply by increasing citizens' influence to 30 or greater, which we can just grant privileges and done. Done and done. There's a lot of estates apparently here. Everything from patricians to Greek population to... We have Germanic population? Where? I didn't know we would start with that. Can we see where is the Germanic population? It's probably somewhere. I would imagine we have a lot of Gauls in the north, but Germanic seems a bit strange. Oh well, maybe it's assimilating that for the future, who knows. We start with a fair amount of troops, to be fair, but they start with more. Look at their amount of cavalry, 72,000 cavalry and 19,000 skirmishers. We have the same amount of infantry right now when we downsized a bit, so we started with a bit more infantry. And they also have just so many ships, 156 heavy ships and 235 light ships. They are dominating at sea, there's no question about that, and the main goal is simply to solidify control over Sicily. That will be our main goal for really this playthrough. It will be a sort of trial playthrough, and who knows, it might not succeed. I played just before I record this a trial run. It went terribly, I lost, so we'll see what happens this time. We have some decisions to make, natural decisions. We can ban debt slavery, which will cost us administrative power, will reduce our production efficiency but lower our national unrest, which is not a bad idea. I'll take it. Forbid human sacrifices, that's bound to make people upset, but apparently it lowers unrest. But then again, it lowers tolerance of true faith, tolerance of heretics, and tolerance of heathens, so it kind of adds up to into a zero-sum game. Gladiator games will lower unrest and lower tax modifier or tax income. I think we can take that just simply for the lowered unrest. We don't want any revolutions happening right now. And then we have the Lex Hortensia, which increases stability cost modifier but once again lowers national unrest. I'll take that too. It seems good. I like it. And we also have a mission to take. We could go for rule the seas, and that would be a very difficult one to do. We need to have more heavy ships than any other nation on Earth that we know about. Well, considering that we are in fight with the Carthage, which has 156 of these damn things, and they cost 30 ducats each, I'm not very optimistic to our chances of beating that. We don't even have enough sailors to do that. We right now have more than our maximum, and each of these cost 100 sailors, I believe, and we would need to have 100,000 sailors ready? Wait, that doesn't make sense. 10,000 sailors. Yeah, 100 times 100 equals 10,000. Math also not my strong point. The ancient ones would be annoyed by me. The Greeks at least, with my terrible knowledge of math. Let's see, we have too many military leaders, which is because we have one admiral and one general. Marcus Atilius Regulus is quite strong. He's not as strong as Hannibal, but he will do. And we have Gaius Julius, who is a fairly strong admiral at least. And we have in any other game I would say we have a powerful fleet. We don't though, compared to the Carthaginians. So we will have to be a bit more sneaky, meaning we will probably end up losing and failing, but we will be a bit more sneaky in our approach. At least that is the plan. And we will be a bit more defensive. We will try to switch around. Like all of these, none of them have skirmishers. And I want someone to fight from, well, some of them have, but not a lot. And I want them to be able to fire from the back lines as well. It just seems better that way. As Rome is a republic, it is, what is it called here? It is Res Publica Libera. We will want to have some seats in the Senate. We start with Rome and Venusia. Venusia. We will... what? Neapolis has a seat in the Senate. Well, clearly they don't. But sure, we will add someone else then. We will add Tarracina, Tarquini, or Tarquini, I don't know. And Populonia, we need 13 seats, I believe. So those are some. Florencia. I mean, this will be a great city in the future. They might as well have a seat in parliament now. We are securing ourselves for the future. Barium is not that great. Metapontum is not that great. Tarentum, that is a great city. Heraclea, no. Crotona, I like that. Is there any other? Salernum, Pompeii. Where's that city that is in Capua? Ah, now I'm getting flashbacks from watching, what's that show called again? It's Spartacus. Spartacus. Sipontum will have a seat in the Senate, and who else will have a seat? I guess Aternum. How many seats do we need now? We need 3 more seats. Larinium, sure. Add them too. And then Ravenna. It's not a great of city now, but it will be a great city once. Like, it will be the capital of the Western Roman Empire for a second or two. Maybe a bit more than that even. And now I'm messing up. I held down W. I'm sorry. There we go. And I will make Perusia a seat. Do we still need more? God damn it. Feels like a... Narnia? Oh, I'm adding Narnia. Narnia, you're going to have a seat. We need Narnia. So looking from our situation right now, it would be great to have something to do with military. And the closest one is Lex Militaris, which, if passed, will increase our national manpower modifier and decrease our aggressive expansion impact. The aggressive expansion thing doesn't really matter too much, but the manpower thing, wouldn't mind if I do. And a lot of people would be fine with that. 4 of them are already prepared to go for it. Most of these will want to have political offices, which reduces our Republican tradition. We don't have much Republican tradition, so I think we will let it be for now. Even with this, we have a fairly high chance of winning that debate, and I'm quite happy with that. We can take a look at as with most of these systems that the modders are adding in, we need to use these sort of things to figure out how much food, for example, we have. Information about Rome. Amount of food, 100. And since we haven't played in years, we don't really have any information on how much we produce. So what mission should we really take now? Should we have to rule the seas even though there's no chance for us to ever get to it, or at least not in a very, very long time? Or should we go for capture Mutina, which we won't really be able to utilize since it is part of the goals up here. And I'm not really a fan of starting a northern war when we barely can contain the war we have, and not certain if we can. But it will take that one just so we have something. Could also just wait for it. That's just fine too. We need a good military advisor. What can we have? Mercenary cost, not too bad. Though, is that initial mercenary cost and not the upkeep? Because the upkeep will kill me. Land attrition. We have 44,000 men in manpower. That is not too bad, but at the same time, still need some more. Advisor for here, monthly autonomy change. That is a good one. And finally, national unrest, making sure that we have no unrest whatsoever in our glorious realm. And since we are at war and we have a high maintenance on most things, raising war taxes seems like a good move in the start. Alright, I think we are a bit prepared to let the time roll. We are starting from war, as I mentioned before. We're not only at war with Carthage, we're also at war with Syracuse over here, or Syracusai. And everyone wants to have alliances with us. We will go for the Pisai, we will go for the Veneti. That seems good. Can we... No, was these not the ones that we allied? Who was it that we allied? I thought we allied them. No. Alright, they allied Carthage instead. What? They offered, I accepted. Did I not? Oh well, doesn't matter. Aiphalia, where are you? Aiphalia. You're somewhere. Maybe you're somewhere. I don't know where, but I won't accept you because I don't know where you are. Alright. That is done and done. Now we have at least a bit more cavalry here, which is good. And this army seems fairly strong in general, so I think Marcus Atilius Regulus will take over that army. And this army is going to be gathering in Capua. I will move away some of these men. I think having 16,000 infantry seems decent. I will be making some Etruscan archers instead. Even though we're not Etruscans at all. If we have 9 of these, so we have an even 30,000. That seems good. Meanwhile, we can disband this one. Just wish we could get back the manpower from it. Abri and Issa wants alliances. I don't know who they are once again, so I won't accept it. And we will activate the food system. You can, as you saw there, play without it if you so desire. We have an enemy fleet out here, which is only light ships. We will strike at them immediately and hopefully gain an early victory over the Carthaginian fleets. There we go. We're sinking a few ships. Another one. So that's 4 in our favor. And that's 2 more. Ah, so... Wait, only 6? I really counted to 8, but oh well. Doesn't matter, we didn't take any damage from it, really, and that was a great victory. The damn Syracusans are attacking our friends in here, in the strait, and I think we're going to have to knock them down a peg, maybe even devastate their fleet long enough so they won't go for us again. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. They lost no ships at all, which is bad. So we will go for a little bit of rest here. Doesn't seem like any of our fleets actually took any damage, which is fairly impressive considering we had 2 fights already. But that's kind of what we need to do. We have to be a bit safer in our approach. And I also think we need to do something here. We have a bit too many infantry, not enough skirmishers. So we will disband. So I wish you could... You know, can we train these in order to become skirmishers? So like in, for example, Hearts of Iron 4, that would be great. Wouldn't mind to have that at all, but I think, yeah, I'm really hoping for this to pay off. Switching around a little bit. Here we have some skirmishers, not a lot, but it will have to do. It's not the greatest strategy in the world to, when we are really scrambling for more manpower, to disband armies and then make some more. So, totally fine with that being a bad strategy. Totally fine if, you know, complaints arise from that point of view. The Syracusans have mastered, or summoned... Wait, what's the word? Mastered? No. Oh, whatever. They have an army of 30,000 men anyway. And it's a fairly strong one. I'm not a big fan of it. Bit surprised that we can have royal marriages, since we have a republic. But I'm sure that's fine too. Maybe some very powerful Roman family married into some of their powerful family. Makes sense. Ancona, I would really like if you were on my side, but you decided to ally the Veneti. Oh, you actually want to have an alliance. Sure. We'll ally Ancona, which I'm very surprised we haven't taken so far. They are worshipping the damn Olympioi, which is the Greek faith. While they should really go for Dei Consentes, which is clearly the better religion overall. We have to be very careful with our military movements. So far, I haven't done a lot except for trying to reform the armies a tiny bit. The reason we have to be a bit cautious is simply that we have very little manpower. So I'm really doubting now my decision to increase skirmishers and removing the others. But I have to live with it. I just wish I could find where the Carthaginians are hiding their fleet. There is a fleet going out. Is it? It's going to our territory. I'm going after it. We have a great leader. I'm really hoping for this. There's some few... No! Great earthquake in Neapolis. This is not supposed to happen. Oh, they lost 10 ships. And we got one. Good. Some of our ships got a tiny bit damaged. Well, I say a tiny bit damage, I mean it was quite a bit damaged in fact. So, where is the thing where you can get rid of. Detach obsolete ships. Can I detach ships that have been damaged? Ah, I think we will just have to do this then. There's just one ship that took all the damage. So there's no point in having the entire fleet just stand by while we wait for that one single ship. There's no point in that at all. We should maybe patrol around Sicily to see what's happening. Maybe we can get some intel, maybe a scoop on what's up. Can't wait. Arena animals. Every day hundreds of men fight and die in our gladiator arenas. But this fight between men gets slowly boring, and so the hosts buy new exotic animals from Africa and Asia to bring them into the arena and let the fight against gladiators. Well, that's great. Apparently for a while there we had no food. We don't anymore. Or actually we do have food. Maybe we should start some food imports. Stop food imports. What is the effect of having import of food supplies? Foreign spy detection, -20. National unrest, -1. Okay, so that's fine. I just don't want to starve or that my people starve. It seems like a bad move, especially in a great war like this. Luckily, most of the men have already been summoned, and they can now come to... Well, due to our food import policy, a foreign merchant arrived in Roma with a big amount of food supplies. Cost us money though, but we got some food. And I could use the food. So if we could get information on, is there a Carthaginian army on Sicily right now? There is not. Is there a Carthaginian army anywhere at the moment? There is not. They have upgraded their army to be even more strong. 72,000. How much money are they even earning? Let's go into the ledger and find out. Where is it? Country. Is this income? Oh, this is treasury. Okay, income. Still, holy shit. 53.63. That's so much. That's just so much money. I want it. How do I get this money? Well, their fleet has decided to show up in its full disgusting glory. I just wish we could fight it. Maybe we should. Now when we have the chance. No food supplies. We have lost effects of no food supply. Good. Excellent. Maybe we should take their fleet out before they escape once again. And they just give up. What? I mean, are we supposed to fight this? They're not doing anything. Also, where are the Carthaginians? They're over here. They do have a lot of islands. They have the Balearic Islands over here. And they have most of Corsica and Sardinia. Well, and then a lot of coast over here. How are we supposed to fight this? Well, I suppose we just need to win some land battles first. Though we have 35,000 men. We cannot recharge our armies too much. We need to have... If we're gonna have a victory, we need to have a good victory. If I put it that way. So we will send our army down. I like that. Apparently this is a faster route than going through here. Probably because there's so many smaller provinces over here. Could potentially be that they lack supplies too. Some of these armies will starve in their own territory. Which is not brilliant. Not brilliant at all. I would like to knock the Syracusans out of the war first, before anything else happens. It would be a great thing. They are blockading now, and also sending a lot of their fleet upwards. Well, we're still getting some food supplies. How is our food situation going? Do we need to cancel the food imports? Yes, we do. I will cancel the food imports. We need the money. We actually still need more money than we are earning. I don't know how to do this. Our fleet maintenance is very low, but our army maintenance is just really, really high. And why is the corruption growing? Corruption going from lack of republican tradition and religious unity. That's bad. We don't want corruption, but at the same time we do want the money. Well, I guess there's nothing else we can do, really. We will try to fight their... Oh god, large revolts? Are you kidding me? It's in Corfinium. This is starting out really, really bad. Corfinium. This is also a really large revolt. And Barium. Barium. Where are you? Barium. Maybe I should just search for it. Barium. you're way over here. Alright, and the other one was in Corfinium. I guess we'll find out where it is. Oh, over here, that is. There's one army. There's the other one. We will send our leader, Marcus Attilius Regulus, up here to take out that army as soon as possible. Hopefully we'll have a good victory. And we had a major success on the field of, well, not really the field of battle, but on the sea of battle. And we have a great success here in this battle. Still losing more men than I would like it to be, but at the same time, it was a glorious victory. And now we're doing the follow-up, and hopefully having an equally good victory. Could do without that big loss in the end. And they go for Rome, and we will take them out in Rome. Hopefully, entirely. Because this is... What is still going on? What the hell? There we go. Alright, so one down. We will relieve him of duty over here, and send him to take charge of these armies. Pull back that one to Crotona. Put Regulus in charge of this army. And then head for Barium together against this massive army. 2 legions, can they do it? Well, I better damn hope so, otherwise I will be pissed. A massive victory for Marcus Attilius Regulus. Can I just call him Marcus? Marcus, it's a great name. It is a great name. I'm only a slightly bit. You know, I only have a little bias towards it, since I have the same name. It's a great name. Really. So, has Hannibal entered our territory yet? There's an army without any leaders. It is mostly cavalry, even though that guy is still wearing his stuff. We can get 2 of them over, and there is Hannibal Barca. He has arrived. He is here. He has landed. And maybe, just maybe, we can block them off and maybe have a wonderful, wonderful victory on our side. There is the block off. He is going for war. He will arrive on the 6th of January, and we will intercept. Hopefully it will be a smashing victory for the Roman Empire. Roman Republic, I mean, sorry. No, there's not. We have a horrible, horrible loss instead, due to our terrible, terrible morale. Is there any way we can support that army before it falls? It's the follow-up battle, and it's still not looking great. Our army is just collapsing in on themselves. At least we saved that army from complete annihilation, but it's still very, very sad that that happened. Very, very sad and very, very scary. Scary that our armies, for some reason, have such terrible morale. I think we need to put up some sort of ace in the hole. We will have a military policy. Add it, and it will be infantry focus, which increases our infantry combat ability by 10% and our shock damage. I'm hoping that will put the sail in our favor. Well, I don't think that's the saying at all. We will combine these armies and also consolidate our regiments, because we want to preserve this manpower as much as possible and not have them being used and our money on simply reinforcing. So, 2 armies, now 3 legions, heading towards a battle. It is a big one, and they are defensive. It's still, they're taking more losses. Maybe this will be a victory for our side. And it is a victory for our side. And apparently we have an election suddenly. Do we want to lose 20 Republican tradition to keep Marcus Fulvius Flaccus? Or do we want, for example, Spurius Annaeus Caesar? I know it's popular to pronounce it Caesar, but it's supposed to be Kaiser. That's why it's called Kaiser. Plus the ancient Romans, I believe at least, pronounced the C as a K. I think so. That is popular theory from my side. Alright, with that victory, have that put them behind? Well, we lowered their amount of cavalry quite a bit, and their amount of infantry is twice the amount that we have. So that's not great. But we do have more skirmishers than they do, which is good. Though, now we have a little bit too little infantry, which is bad. Which means we need more. We don't really have any money. We don't really have anything. We don't have a great amount of really anything at all. Considering that their fleet is all light ships, they have no leader while we have, maybe we can go for it. No, they apparently escaped. And we won't be able to catch up. And they have a bigger fleet now, so I'm gonna head in. And they're blockading the strait, so we can't get to Messina. The problem is that we would have to fight the Syracusan army there whenever we land anyway, which is just awful. It's not great at all. And now the Carthaginians have landed even more men. And I'm a bit afraid to pull back this army, because they might just land over here in Populonia. They might do that anyway. It would be a smart move. But the Carthaginians have a lot of men. And we are losing so much money. So much money. Is there anything we can do when it comes to trade to turn this around? Apparently trade flows to Rome from the north and from the east, and then heads south and to the east again. So do we want to... We want to collect it here, but we want more trade to end up here. Maybe we should send someone to transfer trade over there instead. We have one here who's for some reason pulling it here to Syracuse, which we have no interest in. And then we have... Where's our other trader? Tarantum. Oh. So maybe we should have one here and then one here to transfer over trade power to Rome. I think that would be better, is to get a little bit more for us and a little less for them. So yeah, this is honestly where we will take the first cut for this episode. Or, well, the cut for this episode. So we will be playing as Rome in the First Punic War until such a time where we have either failed or succeeded. And after that we'll take a look at some other nation, maybe some other scenario or some other setup. Maybe one of the small city-states here on Iberia in the beginning of the game, which is Cyrus the Great, or anything in between really. If you have any good suggestions, then please do share them. You can find this mod on the Steam Workshop, as you can find for most of these mods, and I will have a link in the description below for it if you want to give it a shot. You probably already tried it if you're a mod aficionado. And it will also, or you can just, I mean, go to the Steam Workshop and search for Imperium Universalis, and it should be one of the first ones in the list, if not the first search result. I hope you've enjoyed the series and that you will enjoy it, and to see you next time. Have a good one.